What's going on, Graveyard Shift family? It is your fearless shift leader, Dalen Spratt, clocked in for another amazing shift. Y'all, I am in London, England. I ain't gonna lie to you. I done heard the story of Jack the Ripper a lot of times, but I ain't never really paid attention. I done seen the movies. I done seen the books. You see, I said I seen the books. I ain't read them, but I saw them. But no, I have just been enthralled into the world of Jack the Ripper since I've been here in London. So I decided to take you guys along the journey with me. So today we're going to head to the gravesites and final resting spaces of a few of the victims of Jack the Ripper. And I'm going to also try to take you to the Whitechapel neighborhood where all of these occurrences actually happened. So you kind of get a vibe and feel of what was going on in London during that time. Y'all, the story has a lot of twists and turns, and to this day, no one knows who Jack the Ripper is. Well, just like people don't know if OJ did it or not, people don't know who Jack the Ripper is. But there's a lot of theories associated with it, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you a few, and yeah. You gotta figure it out yourself, y'all. But yeah, London, let's get to it. We are here in the Whitechapel area of London, and this is the infamous Durward Street. You see, back in the day, Durward Street, this is where all of the, you know, will go down. This is where like the prostitutes and people of that walk of life would stay, live, hang out, walk through. And you can look at buildings like this. I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to insert a photo of what this building looked like back in the 1800s. And this is the area where Mary Ann Nichols' body was found. So literally, these buildings have been here since the 1800s. These same corridors, these same walkways, these same streets. People have been walking these paths for hundreds of years. But on that fateful night, when Mary Ann Nichols was going out to make her couple dollars so she can have her a place to stay, and she met her untimely demise, it was literally right here. So, back in the day, there used to be like more buildings and like porch right here. And right here was a covering. And right where that woman is standing is where they found the body of Mary Ann Nichols. Literally in this lot right here. So I'm going to insert a picture of where the body was found and what this area looked like back then. But the gentleman that found her claims that he was walking up this street, Durward Street, going west when he found the body of Mary Ann Nichols, literally in this area right here. So it's just kind of interesting. It's really, really interesting to see the exact spot that someone's body was and where they found her. And just see the area where the story happened. So essentially he was walking up the street. He said he saw a body. Then the other gentleman came and was walking behind him and found him finding the body. They then leave to go find a police officer. Police officer comes, gets the body, thus either letting the Jack the Ripper leave or, you know, maybe it wasn't the Jack the Ripper. Maybe that was just someone literally who found the body. But like I said, there's 1,000,001 different theories. But this is the spot. This is the spot. So much different in 2024. It's starting to rain, y'all. Let's get to it. All right, family, we are here at the City of London Cemetery and Crematorium, and this is where we have Mary Nichols and Catherine Eddowes. They're both buried. So now, name of the game is let's find their resting area. So I was online and I was just reading different people's like directions on how we could find their resting space. So I'm trying to put my detective hat on and I'm gonna see what I can see, but I'm gonna take you with me. Yo, what's crazy about this London cemetery? They have just random boxes. Why is there a box? Why is there loose boxes? Y'all see him? Yeah, I don't trust loose foxes. I don't know if they are friendly, but to me, you look nothing more than like a loose dog. And I don't know about over here in London, but in the US of A, a loose dog would be on your ass, boy. Is that a fox? What is that? That's crazy. That's crazy, London. That's crazy, London. That's crazy, London. Y'all just got loose foxes. Y'all just got loose foxes in your cemeteries. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He must be waiting for me to leave. I want y'all to see him. Cause y'all probably think, oh, Dalen, that ain't nothing but a little terrier hound. Yeah, all right. Wait till y'all see the tail on this thing. But he's watching them do all the yard work and the maintenance. This is the Memorial Gardens. That don't look like a skinwalker, a shapeshifter. All right, look, here he comes. Here he comes. Look. What is that, y'all? that, y'all. I don't know. I just want y'all to see that so y'all know I wasn't tripping. Oh, now, why did the fox cross the road? All right, family, we are in the Memorials Garden section of this resting community, and this is the area that Mary Nichols is buried. You see, Mary Nichols was one of the first victims of Jack the Ripper, and she had a real interesting story. You see, she was born to a regular family. You know, she ended up getting married. She had, 5 kids over the course of her life, being married to her husband. But you see, things got a little rocky in their relationship. In some kind of way, you know, for whatever reason, you ask her, it may be one thing. You ask him, it may be another. But they end up separating. And they ended up trying to divorce from one another. And the gentleman, Mr. Nichols, he ended up taking 4 of the children. And he left Mary, and she had, you know, the one. Now, here's the kicker. Mary then starts just moving around from family to family member, like with her dad, moving to boarding houses, literally just picking up, you know, jobs here and there, doing anything that she could to essentially survive, right? So word gets back to her husband that Mary was actually prostituting, which was, you know, a way that some people made money back then and a way that some people make money today. You know what I mean? So Mary and her husband are now like really separated because he's like, I'm not gonna be with you and you out here living like that. So they say Mary ends up, you know, starting to drink. She becomes an alcoholic. She's, you know, taking odds and end jobs. She's living in, you know, shelter homes, will be considered shelter homes now. And all the while, her husband was forced to pay her like some sort of alimony, some sort of just payment by the court system. So he's paying her, and he finds out that, dude, she got a new boyfriend, and she prostituting, and she's an alcoholic. And he was like, nah, I can't be taking care of your lifestyle now. So he goes down to the courthouse, and he presents them the information and proof that Mary Ann Nichols had a boyfriend and she was a prostitute. And by law, if you are receiving funds by any like illicit act, it goes against your alimony, and the husband or the ex-husband can stop paying. So he stopped paying. He was like, I ain't finna pay for her. So this really put Mary in a bind, right? So now Mary is just like living on, like damn near on the street, but in like boarding homes. You know what I mean? Where it costs like $4, whatever their currency was back in the day. Whatever they Londonese currency was back in the day. So let's just say it was like $4, right? Which was it wasn't, because $4 back then would have probably been a lot. But say, you know, let's just use $4 just for current day currency. It will cost $4 for her to rent a room for her to go to sleep at, right? So they say that the night that she passed away, she goes to the boarding house and she goes to the front desk to get her room. They say, Mary, it's going to be $4. Mary reaches in her pocket and she does not have the $4, y'all. She had been spending her money all on liquor, literally the whole day. But Mary looks at dude at the counter. She was like, $4. Don't even trip. Your girl can go get that real quick. So she steps outside, you know what I'm saying? She goes to handle her business to make her quick $4. But that's when the story has it that she ran across who a lot believed to be Jack the Ripper, making her one of his very first victims. And yeah, she was found the next day outside of a building on the ground, and her throat had been slit. And it just makes you think that Had she not spent that $4 earlier that day, she would have had the money to pay for a room. And she would have been in her bed sound asleep, and very well may not have been a victim of Jack the Ripper. And it's just crazy how, like, literally one small decision can change the course of your life or could end your life. She was on record telling someone that day, I've made the money for my room 4 times today. But that's just how many times she blew that money on alcohol throughout the day. And they even said 30 minutes to an hour before she was last seen alive, they saw her stumbling down the street drunk. It's like, dang, that one decision, that one drink could have potentially saved her life. But hey, here at the Graveyard Shift, we don't judge at all. We just love to ask questions and get into the mindset and the mind frame of those that we're talking to. But right here is where Miss Mary Ann Nichols is resting. She was buried here in 1888. She died August 31st, 1888. I know this looks like a newer placard, and that's because it is. London replaced it. The city replaced it with this new placard to pay the respects to Miss Mary Ann. But she was buried right here on the edge of the Memorial Gardens back in 1888. Let's set up and see if we can speak to Miss Mary Ann. What's up, Graveyard Shift family? Y'all, they're doing maintenance. They're doing lawn work. So I know you hear that lawnmower in the background. I apologize if it gets too loud. But, you know, we gotta work what we working with. We are here at the resting space of Miss Mary Ann Nichols, who passed away December 31st, who passed away August 31st, 1888. Mary Ann, my name is Dalen Spratt. And what I do is I come to resting communities like this and I try to speak to those who might not have been spoken to in a while. Hopefully due to cut this leaf blower off. I got Buddy over here with a leaf blower. Here come another fox. Bro, like, what is going on? Mary, this what y'all got to deal with. Literally walking right up on me with this leaf blower. Hopefully he's almost done, guys. How's it going? I am, but but you're good. If you need to keep it running, you're good.
Yeah, you're alright. It's going to be a little bit of noise though.
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah. Y'all, I might have to pause for a little bit. Alright, y'all, we gonna pause the video. All right, family, we're back, and we're on a hill. But yeah, so we've heard the story, Miss Marianne. We've heard the things that happened. Excuse me. Allergies, Miss Marianne. I apologize. But what we do is we come to places like this and we try to have conversations with people like you. We've heard your story, and I kind of just want to just understand you more. And this is us paying our respect to you. And yeah, just letting you know, over 100 years later, people are still thinking about you, people are still talking about you, people are still remembering you. So if you wouldn't mind, Miss Marianne, I would love to speak to you. I'm just gonna ask you some questions. And if you feel like talking, I can hear you through this box. Y'all, I am not lying. I mean, I don't know why I gotta say that. Y'all know I ain't lying. I literally just felt like the ground under my left hand like vibrate. I don't know what that means, and it could mean nothing. I've just never felt that before. Like, it felt like, you remember them you remember those back in the day when you was a kid, that little thing you could put in your hand and you shake somebody's hand and it'll buzz them a little bit, like zzz. It felt like that underneath here, but there shouldn't be anything underneath here buzzing like that. I don't know, that was just weird. That was really, really weird. And there's no way for me to ever verify that, so just totally disregard that. I don't know what that was. Maybe there's some sort of power line, or I don't know, that was weird. All right. Now the wind is blowing all crazy. Miss Marianne, I would love to speak to you. I would love to speak to you, Miss Marianne. Marianne. Everybody's leaving. That's what I was waiting on. I just don't want to miss anything with them starting up this heavy truck right here, but they're about to pull off. So I'm just gonna stop the video one more time, guys. All right. Miss Marianne Nichols, all of the distractions are gone, and we are here now, and we can hear each other, and we are back to it. Now, Miss Marianne, we've read your story, we've done the research, we've heard what everyone else has said about you. We would love to hear what you have to say for yourself. This is a judgment-free zone. We don't judge anyone for any decisions that they made or anything that happened in their life. We're here just to listen, to pay our respect, and to help remember. Y'all, That fox. Bruh, I'm just trying to do my job, man. I'm just trying to do my job. Y'all, it seems like every time I try to start a conversation with Mary, y'all, what is this thing coming after me for? Come on, man. I ain't come here for all that. Bruh, come on, bruh. Nah, bruh. That's a spirit box, man. Come on, man. Y'all. Ooh, y'all. Somebody come get him. Bruh, come on, bruh. I'm out here trying to do my job, man. Sir, can you please go about your business? Mr. Loose Fox, can you go about your business, please? You calling back up? You done called your mans on me? Y'all, they about to jump me. I know what it's like. I know what about to get jumped feels like. Oh, y'all just disrespectful, bro. Y'all disrespectful. Family, what am I supposed to do? Y'all done came all the way out here to do this. I cannot not do this. Look at that. Sir, you finna come rescue me? You such a brave man. You such a brave man, sir. Thank you, kind sir. Oh, you just walk with the animals. Listen here, Dr. Doolittle. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe they're not so bad at all. Kind sir, you saved me. How can I ever repay you, sir? Apparently these foxes are friendly guys. No, not foxes. Because y'all be thinking I be for real when I be talking when I say stuff like that. These foxes are serious business. Okay. Let's try this for a third time. So, Miss Marianne, it's me again. There have been a lot of distractions today. A lot of distractions. And I'm almost curious, should I cut this out the video or should I leave all of this stuff in the video just to show like everything that's leading up to this conversation? Alright, whatever. If this fox comes over here again, y'all, whatever. I've just never been around a wild fox before. Apparently apparently it's cool in London. Marianne, my name is Dalen. Are you here with me? Okay. Just so I know who I'm talking to, can you tell me your name?
Like to the shirt.
Okay, Miss Nichols, I have to hear you say your name. Please. Like, that's one way for sure that I know I'm speaking to you. Can you please tell me your name?
On me.
You can tell me any of the three names on your placard. Mary and Nichols. Okay, Mary, I haven't heard you say anything. I haven't heard you say your name. So maybe I will. Okay. Maybe you just need to warm up to me. I promise you I come in love, peace, and respect. I don't want anything from you other than conversation. Again, like I just heard a lot of stuff online, or well, just read a lot of stuff about you. And I would just love, just like I said, just to hear from your perspective. I know it was a very traumatic incident that happened, but I just feel like everyone deserves to tell their story. There you go. Just clean you up a little bit. That's it. Straighten you up a little bit. Marianne, is there always this much activity going on around you?
California.
So, Miss Mary, are you here?
Good. What else? Further.
Okay. Well, Miss Mary, I read that you had 5 children. 5 children. You were married and you had 5 children. Do you remember the time in your life when your very first kid was born?
Well, in a sensitive topic.
It's a sensitive topic.
So that's what's my
Why is that? Why are your children a sensitive topic? Do you feel like you didn't get enough time with your family? Hurts. So towards the end of your life, it seems as though your husband had the majority of your kids, and he was trying to make it seem like you were unfit. Were you fighting to get your kids back? Do you feel like your husband was wrong for taking your children?
From our
You said you had to face it. Okay, but do you feel like you were in a position to take care of yourself and all of your kids?
So you
feel like you would have got it together for your kids?
which are terror images.
So what do you feel like was the downfall of your, like what just caused everything to go downhill? Like your relationship, losing the kids, like what drove you to all of that?
From our
Was alcohol the reason? I'm sure Mary Ellen's around somewhere. Mary Ellen, are you here? Mary Ellen, if you are here, it seems like there's some people here that need your assistance. Something wonderful? What's something wonderful?
There.
Marianne, did you need some sort of assistance? Okay. So you were at a time in your life where the things that meant the most to you seemed to be a little bit out of reach. And you had things that you needed to do to make things better. Does that sound about right? Well said.
We're West.
Do you feel like that you were on the path to getting on track again?
And I just stay with candy.
So, Mary, what drove you to work in the business of
looking around?
looking around all the time? So what made you decide to get into the business of prostitution? I said I was broke. That is fair. Were you ever afraid? Did you ever? You understood the dangers that came with that business, right? Before that fateful night, had you had any other issues with any other clients?
So, what do you mean?
So do you remember what happened that last night?
It was just
So Mary, they say that last night you made it to your lodging and you didn't have enough money to buy a room. I'm gonna let everybody pass by before we continue. So Mary, like I said, they say that last night you didn't have enough money to buy lodging. Is that true? Do you feel like they should have just let you stayed anyway? So did you leave out to go make the money for the room?
You haven't told me.
Did you think that you were going to make the money pretty fast? So do you think it was just by happenstance that you ran across the person? Did you have, thinking back on it, did you have any feelings when you first saw him? Like a red flag or a gut instinct? If you saw his face again, would you recognize him? Marianne, let me ask you this. Do you know the person that killed you? Do you feel like you were just at the wrong place at the wrong time?
Everything.
I would feel like a wrong decision led you down that path that night. I guess my question is, do you feel like you could have avoided what happened to you? So, Marianne, the world still doesn't know who's responsible on record for who did that to you. What do you feel about that? Did the person that harmed you, did they ever meet their judgment? That he's waiting? What do you think is going to happen to him when he's judged? Do people know who the culprit is?
So we stop that.
Something about a family? There's been theory that someone in the royal family had their hand in it. Is that true?
And I just
Did someone in the royal family do this?
I don't know.
Or did someone from the royal family have someone do it?
I think.
Does the name H.H. Holmes mean anything to you?
Upstairs.
So no, it doesn't. Okay. Mary, I hate what happened to you ever happened. No one deserves anything like that to happen. So for whatever reason, there was no reason. You deserve much better than that. You deserve much better than that. I'm glad you're in a better space. And I'm sure you're with your children now, right?
So,
is there anything else you'd like to say, Mary? Will the person that hurt you ever be fully punished? In this life or the next? Okay.
Where?
Thank you, Mary.
Terrifying. Figure.
Run.
Yo, that's wild. I don't know. There might be something to that whole theory about the royal person being involved. Blessings to you, Mary. All right, so go ahead. So you tell me what you think your theory is now.
Well, we all know that Polly was found where she was found at 2:45 in the morning,
Right.
give or take, because obviously timings back then was pretty abstract because not everybody had watches and clocks and stuff like that.
Okay.
But basically, a man called Charles Cross found the body, and he was then found by another guy, Robert Paul, who was going to work. They were both going to work.
And they both stumbled upon the body at the same time.
Robert Paul comes across the man, like, with the body.
Right.
So, like, he says, well, let's sit her up, etc. And the other guy says, well, no, I'm late for work, blah, blah, blah. So they go off, they find another policeman, etc. A policeman then finds the body. For the first 2 days, they didn't even know that the body was found by this guy called Charles Cross.
Okay.
They thought, even at the inquest, that it had been found by Robert Paul, the policeman. Robert, get the names right for God's sake.
No.
But they thought it was found by the policeman, not by Robert Paul.
So let me just from my understanding, let me stop you. So Polly, who is Marianne Nichols,
Yes.
was dead on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Somebody walks up and sees her,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Somebody sees him seeing her.
Right. This is the thing. He sees him, and the quote from Robert Paul is standing where the woman was.
Okay, so a third person saw a guy standing over Polly.
So you've got the dead body.
Yep.
You've got a man standing in the road,
Which is you.
which is me, and coming down the road
Was somebody
was
else.
somebody else. This is Robert Paul, who sees the two together. So to
Got
speak.
you.
They both go off together, and they tell another policeman further down about it. But they walk past various security guards and people on guard in the street,
Right.
buildings. But they get it, and they say, like, arguably, one says, "Oh, you're wanted. Like, there's a woman who's drunk or whatever." The other one sort of says, "Well, no, like I think she's dead." Or that's kind of like a bit sort of hit and miss because there's 3 different versions even at the inquest.
Wow.
But anyway, they then at the inquest they think for 2 days that the policeman on the scene found the body.
They don't know nothing about the other two
They
guys.
don't know about. The only reason they know about the other 2 is the guy that sees the guy Cross and Polly as he's walking down the street. He gives an interview to the newspaper and says, "What are you talking about, guys? Like, I found her and we told a policeman about it."
Right.
So at the inquest, obviously, they all have to go to the inquest, and the narrative is that, like, Charles Cross says, "Well, yeah, I found the body," but he makes it sound as if he found it with the other guy,
Right.
and then sort of basically no, we walked and we found someone and blah blah and all the rest of it, and makes very much light of it. But I know I said the timings are all a bit rough, but at about 4 o'clock, the policeman's found the body. He's sent for a doctor, and the doctor said when he got there at about 4:10 that she must have been murdered within half an hour or so.
Oh, wow.
So, like, again, it's kind of hard to know how good they were with their timings and such like, but Charles Cross, who found the body and then Robert Paul found him, makes no comment about hearing anybody running away or anything like that.
And he would have, based on the timeline, he would have been right there.
He would have been on the scene as she was being murdered, or
Right.
near enough.
Right.
You know. Yet he speaks of hearing Robert Paul walking up to him. So the guy that's seen him and the body, he hears him walking up, but he doesn't hear someone
Walking away.
or running away. or
Right.
running. Okay, so that's a bit suspect, you might think. So, you know, the timeline means that basically he was there at the time the crime could have been committed, but it took over 100 odd years to find out that his name wasn't actually Charles Cross. His real name was Charles Lechmere. He used the name Cross, and I believe that he used the name Cross because his stepfather was a man called Cross, who was a policeman, and was there trying to say, look, my credibility is my dad's a copper.
Really?
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't lie. I found the body, yeah, and he came along. I didn't see anybody else, and blah, 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 blah.
So do you think he was responsible for the murder of Polly?
I kind of think that he is responsible for the Jack the Ripper murders and others within
Okay.
Whitechapel, because if you look at, I mean, you need to read a book by Chris Ahondrum. It's called Cutting Point,
Okay.
and you need to look at Edward Stowe's YouTube
His
channel as well.
Okay.
But basically, he lived along where Sainsbury's is. like
Okay.
when you go to Whitechapel.
Yep.
So you'll stand out the back of the station, and if you look to your right, you've got the murder site, and further down there's a Sainsbury's. So he lived around that area, and he worked up at Broad Street, which is like up towards Liverpool Street.
Okay.
Now, when he went on his route to work, he went down that way and he turns left and right a little bit. He could have gone straight on, but he walked with Robert Paul further to work, not knowing who Robert Paul was and where he worked. So I think he wanted to know where Robert Paul worked.
Got you.
And if he'd have gone straight on and split with Robert Paul before that, he would have walked straight past Martha Tabram's murder site. So if Robert Paul had then gone to the police, it might have been like, well, I met this guy here, and like you know, then I left him here and went off there, and the police might go, well, there was another murder there 2
And
weeks
start putting
before.
2 and 2 together.
Like, you know, and so then the next murder was done along by Cobbett's Court, which is where Robert Paul worked, and obviously Cross Lechmere knew where Robert Paul worked
because he followed him.
So was that one particularly done in that area to put a cast of thought that it was the other guy?
Okay.
You know,
This is a real conspiracy theory you got going.
you know, so there's that. The ones that were like the double event, they were like in a totally different area on a totally different route, you might think, but they were done on a Sunday night, and it was a route that he could have taken on his way home from visiting his mum that lived over by Mitre Square and over that way.
Okay.
So, like, you know,
It all just coincides together.
it's like you get a red flag, you get another red flag, you get another red flag, you get another red flag.
Yeah.
There's no 100% proof, but how many coincidences
Does it take?
does it take before you start thinking, hey,
Yeah.
this is a plausible.
Okay, so you got me going down a whole nother rabbit hole, man. Okay, what about the theory that it was a member of the royal family that did it?
Honest opinion,
Honest opinion.
I think it's a bit too Hollywood.
Okay.
But
Okay.
okay, I would also make the comment that it's not impossible, I think it's,
Who are they claiming from the royal family did it?
well, you have the prince, you have the royal doctor, and you have the royal doctor's understudy.
Okay.
The royal doctor had heart attacks and bits and pieces, so you sort of kind of rule him out, but obviously
You are a great storyteller, I must tell you. Great story. You missing your calling, man. Can I get you on camera, man? Can I get this for a second?
In a minute, possibly.
Okay. All right.
So it's to do with the prince, and the idea is that the prince was going out in Whitechapel, seeing the prostitutes, got one pregnant, and therefore these three, the canonical five, were going to club together and blackmail the royalty.
Okay, so
Right.
that's the piece I was missing.
Now, I don't know whether that would be feasible, because a lot of people at that time were illiterate, and how many prostitute type women at that time would actually get together and
devise a plan
any
that
sort of
big
plan.
to do.
That's where I think that theory falls down. The fact that he was out with prostitutes, etc., I think that's viable. And the fact that it might have been Queen Victoria that turned around and goes, look, I've got to stop him going down there. Like let's create a Jack the Ripper type thing to sort of like, he'll be frightened to go down there. I stopped him going down there, and we've got rid of the few, like,
Right.
you know, sort of lowest of society, which is the wrong way of looking at it.
Yeah, for sure.
But perhaps, I mean, so that makes that theory kind of feasible. And the other thing that lends itself to that, in my eyes, is the issue that we had in the 90s of Princess Diana.
Right.
You know, we have a princess, she's off with a new boyfriend.
Yep.
And she gets into a car crash, and it's in a French subway, and they've got cameras and all sorts of things in these subway, yet they can't find any evidence about anything. And you could argue that she was another victim of Jack the Ripper, if you want to go down that if you want to go down the royal route.
I like that.
You know, it's not. I just think that there's so many things. I mean, like, you know, you sort of sit there and you think, no, not really. But
when it be like
when you look at it like that, and some of the conspiracies that you find come out, like, you know, sort of you start looking into the Titanic and all sorts of things like that.
Right.
You know, like there's so many things that you don't know. Like, and again, going back to even more modern history, when you look at Jack the Ripper and things, you have to compare him to modern serial killers. And all the modern serial killers that we look at are not this hunchback crazy guy. They're all, like, to all intents and purposes, to all the people around them, totally normal.
Right.
Which is how they blend into the background.
Your Jeffrey Dahmers, your all serial killers.
Our one classic would be Peter Sutcliffe.
Okay, yeah.
You know, sort of like for 10 years, they were looking for a guy from, like, North Shields or something, because of the accent of the tape. And the tape was all false. But the whole of their even some of the victims were saying, like, that isn't the guy.
Yeah.
And, like, the police were still determined that this tape had the Yorkshire Ripper's voice on it. They actually had Sutcliffe in about 9 times for questioning, and, like, he got away. And effectively he was caught by accident, because yes, he had picked up a prostitute, yes, he had gone to a known place where they deal with it, but he wasn't caught by people dealing with searching for the Yorkshire Ripper. He was basically caught because he had false number plates on the car, and he gave a false name. If he'd given his real name, and the plates would have matched,
he might have got away.
He'd have got a slap wrist and he'd have walked away.
Yeah.
But because of that, they put him in a cell. Eventually, after like 12 or so hours, the people doing the Ripper case sort of woke up a little bit and went and had a look.
Yeah.
And then found that, well, actually, that's the guy.
That is wild. So nobody to this day really truly knows who Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper, I think in hindsight, it's very easy to pick a name of somebody in the area at the time and fit a case around them.
Yeah.
And I think it's very difficult to blame the police, because I think the police at the time probably did all they did. And I think that the reason it stopped at Mary Kelly, supposedly, is because the police could not do anything. the case had to finish with that massive end, but when the people that were murdered afterwards, there was I can't remember the names, but there was people murdered afterwards, and the police actually sent 3 different doctors down, and one said it could be, one said it probably was, and one said it could not be like connected to the Ripper crimes. And of course, once they got that, it was like, oh no, that was not a Ripper crime, and it was like shoved under the carpet because it like had to end because the police were like in such a mess over
So you
it.
think there was other murders outside of the?
I think if you look at the Whitechapel area,
Yeah.
from much before and afterwards, there are a lot of similar sort of murders.
Really?
I think if you look into, I mean, you could go as far as even arguing like Krista and Edward Stowe that the Thames Torso murders were committed by Charles Cross stroke Lechmere as well. I mean, and there's a lot of he could have this, he could have that, but it's just like it's a big can of worms.
Yeah.
You know, but I to me, I think that Martha was stabbed a lot of times. It wasn't the same sort of trying to remove bits and pieces and such like, but if that's an earlier crime and like the serial killers get more confident and progress, then perhaps he only had a pen knife and did it with a pen knife, and then found he needed a better knife. He needed
it progresses.
And I think also that we shouldn't just think that he was going out targeting prostitutes. I think he was preying on anybody, but obviously the prostitute,
Which is the easiest ones to.
well, like you find a prostitute on Whitechapel High Road, and you negotiate a deal, and she takes you off to a dark alley. Well, it's the perfect.
Yeah, she set the opportunity for you.
You know, she's not going to take you anywhere noisy and busy, is she?
Right.
To conduct her business.
Right.
And it just gives you the opportunity to conduct yours.
Dang, that's crazy. That's wild.
It's a big can of worms, my friend. The more you look
Yeah,
at it, the more
I
you
see.
look at it.
I see. Because dude yesterday had me thinking maybe it was a member of the royal family, but I just couldn't gather how he would find out that all 5 knew and why he would try to kill everybody. But then now you said they came together and could potentially have been blackmailing him.
If you watch Johnny Depp film,
From Hell.
basically that's very loosely the royal conspiracy
Got
theory.
you.
And I think also the other thing is, like, we get this thing about the cape and the top hat and all the rest of it. And that's a sort of very much a sort of like upper class view of what, like, you know, and that all came about because it's a doctor that's doing it, because he's cutting all these people and slashing all these people and taking organs. And the doctor would have a cape, a hat, and a bag, and a cane, and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
The more you look, the more you scratch your head, the more you like just go, wow, where does this go? You know, it's just crazy. But yeah, there's theories upon theories upon theories.
Yeah.
But I think you can look at it. And the more you look, the more confused you get.
You get every single time. Every single time. Y'all, my buddy don't want to be on camera. I respect it. Everybody don't want to. He like being behind the scenes telling stories. So we going to let him be in his comfort zone. But now he's going to tell me the story of Catherine Meadows, right? Eddowes. Okay. All right. Now he's going to tell me the story of Miss Catherine. All right. So tell me what happened? How was she found? What was she doing? What was her world like during that time span?
Well, she'd just come back from hop picking in Kent.
What is hop picking?
They picked the hops to make beer.
Oh, hop picking. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
And they hadn't had a particularly good time. She was short of money, etc. And she'd come back. I believe she'd gone down with her husband. And they're going to fire us out soon then.
You know it's 5, don't you?
Yeah.
What's he saying?
We've got to be out by 5. Got half hour or so.
Okay. Oh, wow.
yeah, so they've been hot kicking. I believe she'd gone down with her common law husband, whatever, and they come back, and sort of think the times were bad. She went out to try and find some money in bits and pieces. Anyway, she got enough money and she got herself drunk, because obviously they like to drink gin and stuff like that, because it was probably safer than actually drinking the water.
Right.
And basically she got drunk. She got taken to the police because she was drunk by the police to a police station because she was drunk and disorderly. And unfortunately for her, she got released about midnight just after from the police station. And she obviously was wandering her way home via Mitre Square or looking for a client maybe, you know. And that's when she met Jack the Ripper, who like cut her all up, took bits away with him, and stuff like that. And
why do you say she has one of the most interesting stories?
Well, it's kind of like she was the second one in that evening because he'd been disturbed earlier on. Well, that's the theory. He was disturbed earlier on, and so literally, I assume, while the police and everybody else there was this big hubbub around the first victim that had been found.
And who was that? That was...
I get the names wrong.
Yeah. So he essentially killed two women in the same night?
In the same night, within hours.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's about a 45-minute walk between the two.
Okay.
And, like, without, like, consulting bits and pieces, which obviously you can look up.
Right.
The time scale. He then moves on because he's had to escape from there. But while all this is going on, either he's lust to do what he does, wasn't satisfied because all he did was actually murder that one.
Right.
Or maybe it was a case of like, okay, while they're doing that, I'll go over here and do this.
Right.
And I think he only had about half an hour time scale between when they did the police route around there. The police went in there at I think it was about 1:45 or something like that, and everything was fine, and then came back at like 1:15 and just found the body mutilated.
Oh wow.
So like again, the guy's got this bravado of he either knows the police's routes, the timings and bits and pieces.
This is very bold of an act with the police being out like that. You
exactly
30 minutes do it again.
You know, but I mean with basically with Catherine, the saddest bit is that she was released by the police from being drunk and disorderly straight virtually into the hands of Jack the Ripper.
Oh wow.
And because there's two police forces, there's the Metropolitan Police and there's the City of London Police, if she'd been arrested effectively on the other side of the road, because like the police borders ran along.
Yeah.
If she, a bit like they do in the States.
Right.
You know, you like
cross a county line.
Yeah.
So she would have got the other county.
If she'd have been on the other side of the road type of thing, she'd have been arrested by the other police force for being drunk and disorderly. She'd have been held in the cells overnight and bailed in the morning by seeing a judge. But because it was that one, they released her, like when she sobered up.
You know what's crazy?
Jack the Ripper.
You know what's crazy? It seems like Catherine and Mary both ran into Jack the Ripper because of something falling through that night.
I think all of them, every single victim, were it's that wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
You know?
Like she didn't have the money to get a room.
She didn't have the
money.
She
got let out of jail.
She got let out of jail. I think unfortunately the situation with the way things were at that time, you know, sort of like having to have like 4p to get a bed. And the bed was nothing more than like a coffin with a bit of straw in.
So 4p is like how much? It's like, those are like coins, like pennies?
Yeah, it would have been like 4 coins.
Okay,
yeah.
So not even like a dollar, not even like a full pound.
Equivalent, I wouldn't know what it is, but I would imagine it's probably going to be something like £3 or £4 now. like, you know.
Now it would be like 3 or
Yeah,
4 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, got you.
But to them at that time, it was probably.
Yeah.
It's all relative. I mean,
Of course.
to actually sit there and work out what financially it would have been then to now, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. But that's interesting.
That's something that can be looked into, definitely.
Dang, so she was let out of jail from being drunk.
Yeah, I think the guys or whoever we think did it, you know, I think that he was very opportunist.
Of course.
But he went out, but he knew the surroundings.
Yeah, knew the area.
So, like, he knew that there was an alleyway he could get through to get to somewhere. He knew that there was a somewhere, and went. And again, I think if we look at Charles Cross and suspect Charles Cross, Charles Lechmere, even if there wasn't an escape route, he had the guts and balls to, like, face it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you go to, again, we're going off subject now because this is obviously Jack the Ripper, but if you look, the more you look, my friend, the more there is to see.
Get lost into it. Yeah. Man, I appreciate that. Like, you literally made my video, man. Like, it's gonna be. This is cool. Like, you gave a lot of insight and answered a lot of questions.